YouTube Live, and I wanted to do it because there's just a lot going on, folks. There's a lot going on, and I feel that we need to address it. So I'm going to be on here at 7:43. I'm going to be on here until 8 o'clock. I don't know if anyone's going to join, but I'm going to talk about a few things. And I'm just going to start, and I'm not going to stop because I feel that it's necessary to address certain topics. We're going to talk about Hadi Chupin not doing the Arnold Classic. We're going to talk about Matt Jensen, who honestly I don't believe is anywhere near done in his career. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the whole Martin Van Wyck, Jeff NIPPARD situation, because that has brought the bodybuilding world down to its knees. Thanks for watching Strength Addicts on all social media platforms, powered by IML. Visit ironmaglabs.com today for all the hardcore supplements. Make your mark with Iron Mag Labs. So, I think it's a mistake for Hadi not to do the Arnold Classic, and I'm going to tell you why. Because Hadi cannot win the Mr. Olympia, just like Brandon can't, like Rami can't, you know, like Phil couldn't, like Ronnie couldn't, like Dexter couldn't. Once you lose it, sayonara, because it's not a sport that's conducive to champions re-winning the title. And if I'm lying, sorry, my microphone, if I'm lying, I'm dying. In 60 years, only one man's been able to do it. That's Jay Cutler. So I think that Hadi not doing the Arnold Classic, it's a waste. Because I think that, he could make $500,000, literally. And the fact that, he's just going to like throw all that away, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense. Because $500,000, imagine what you can do with $500,000 in Iran. I mean, you could probably, buy your own bunker or something. Because the Israelis are going to hit them real hard because they hit them October 1st. Dude, this is so good. This is vegan ramen. I'm not vegan, I'm vegetarian, but I can never have ramen because it's got fish in it. This is vegan. It's amazing. Mm. Now I can have the same high sodium foods as people that eat meat can. But I got to tell you something. $500,000 in Iran, in the United States, you could do a lot with $500,000. That's real prize money. And Hadi could win it. And Samson's probably not going to do the Arnold if he's smart. But then again, he also competed right before the Olympia, even though everybody told him not to. He didn't listen, but he won the Olympia. So I guess, he may compete at the Arnold Classic possibly. He may add that 500,000 to the 600K that he made. But I don't think he will. I don't think he will. So Hadi, therefore, would have, not easy money, but he'd have a good payday. Derek might do the Arnold Classic, but I don't think so either because Derek wants to focus on the Olympia. Because Derek does what he's told, including taking his shirt off and posing with competitors he doesn't want to pose with. Earlier in the year, I believe it was Tamer El-Gindi, who's like a Brazilian promoter who's very, very powerful now, very important, whatever. Was like at a gym, and it was Nick Walker, Samson Dowda, and Derek Lunsford. And they had already taken a few shots, but clearly, they wanted Derek and Nick to pose against each other because they wanted to drum up buzz for the Olympia. Big shock there. And Derek Lunsford, Derek is a man's man. No, he's not going to go out of his way to hurt your feelings, but he's also not going to BS you. And Derek noticeably did not want to do any more photos. He was okay doing them with Samson, but he didn't want to do them with Nick Walker. So the rumor is, and I don't know if it's really a rumor because there's a lot of people witness this, El-Gindi goes to Derek and says, Derek, you're Mr. Olympia. You've got to pose with these two guys. And I think Derek told him, listen, I'll pose with Samson, top 3 Olympian, Arnold Classic champion, but I don't want to pose with Nick. He was an Arnold Classic champion. He was North American champion. He was, a top 5, top 6 Olympian at one point. But you got to remember, he dropped out of the Olympia last year. So Derek didn't want any part with him, and he was out of shape. And Gindy said, "Take your shirt off and pose." And Derek did it. So he's a yes man. He behaves himself. Look, he didn't cry or walk off stage because he lost. But in his mind, he thinks he can actually re-win the title, which he can't. He cannot re-win the title. You just can't do it. It's just you can't do it in bodybuilding. It's nothing against Derek. It's nothing against Ronnie. It's nothing against any of them. I'm really hungry, guys. I just got out of work, so I got some salsa here. I'm not gonna eat it with chips because I'm fat and I'm trying to lose weight. Now, carrots and guac. I'm forgetting to drink. I guess I'll drink the soup. Not quite what I had in mind, but I'm like all mic'd up. I'm not gonna get up. Um, so Derek thinks he can win the Olympia. He's not gonna do the Arnold Classic either. Sorry for that massive, um, I forget what that's called. Like that massive, like I don't know. Anyways, sorry about that. So there won't be Derek. There's not going to be Samson more than likely. Martin maybe, but I'm just saying how he could go to Columbus and he could have an easy payday. Before tangent, that was the word. Before Kai Green stopped competing, he didn't actually stop competing altogether. He stopped competing at the Olympia and then only competed at the Arnold Classic. Why? Because he still had to work his tail off. He still had to suffer. He still had to pose endless hours in the mirror. But when he went to Columbus, he got judged fairly. When he went to Vegas, he didn't. And now the Arnold Classic is paying $500,000. I mean, Hadi is stupid not to compete. But anyway, he's not competing. So that's that. Matt Jensen is not done. Everybody's saying, "Oh, Matt Jensen's career's over." Look, Sean left him. That was pretty big. I'm shocked at that because even when Sean was a Raw sponsored athlete and got dropped by Raw, like in front of everybody, he didn't leave Matt, who was a part owner of Raw, who could have saved Sean and did not. So I'm surprised Sean left him because with Matt, he has not one but two 212 Olympia Sandows. He won the Reno Sports Fest or whatever the hell that's called against guys like, you know, Sergio Oliva Jr., who's like freaking, 100 pounds heavier than Sean. And then also the Canadian bodybuilder whose name I always forget. He's friends with Jay Cutler. Never really places very well. I forget his name. It doesn't matter. What is his name? Mm, Anybody in the comments? No, I have no idea who I'm talking about right now, but it's not important. Um, so basically, I think Sean did it really well with Matt. I think, and he got second place at this year's 212 Showdown. I mean, I don't know why Sean would have left. I really don't. I mean, he can't get mad at Matt because Keon's got a better physique. Keon has a better physique. He's bigger, taller, younger, can put more mass on his torso. Sean tried doing that last year, putting more mass on, and he lost. This year, he came in leaner, and he still didn't win. And it's not because he's not a phenomenal bodybuilder, it's because, you know, Keon has a prettier look. It just is what it is. I don't see why he would leave Matt, but he left Matt. I'm not a Matt cheerleader either. I just know from following bodybuilding as closely as I have over the last 15. Well, I've been writing and creating content the last 15 years, but I've been into bodybuilding for at least 10 years, more than that, so 25 years. And, I got to be honest with you, Lee Priest makes a good point. In his day, there weren't all these gurus. You know what I mean? There was Chad and there was Chris, and that was it. But now everybody's a guru, right? But what I'm trying to say is, in Lee's day, the Matt situation may have ended his career, because in Lee's day, there was Chris, there was Chad, there's 2 coaches. Now, there's like 100 coaches. Now, clients leaving coaches, coaches firing clients, that's become like, pretty hot topic news. So now, when a client leaves, everybody and their mother needs to know about it. Or it doesn't need to, but knows about it. And it might seem like everybody's leaving Matt's side, and maybe they are. Well, in 1 year, I saw Matt leave Raw come back. I saw Matt leave Matt come back. No, excuse me, I'm talking about Nick. I saw Nick leave Raw and come back. I saw Nick leave Matt and come back. So, I'm just going to say, I think that all these athletes at one point or another are going to at least consider going back to Matt. They did very well with Matt. And I think they fell into that domino effect, chain reaction, snowball effect. I think Quentin Araya may have a very strong case with Matt, and Matt may have really dropped the ball with Quentin. But I don't know that Matt dropped the ball like horribly with Brett Wilkin, who looked phenomenal this year. Sean Clarita, who looked phenomenal this year. You can't blame Matt Jensen for Nick Walker's screwiness. Okay? You can't. That kid has his own demons to battle. He's dropped out of 2 Olympias. He's lost sponsors, like sitting with product with his face on it. He's not a prima donna, but he's got a pretty big ego. And at the Natural Vitamins Epic Block Party, I was talking about it in New York. He warned me. He said he was like a follower of mine, like he was liking my shit. Excuse me. But he warned me. He said, keep it positive. Because he said that he blocks anybody who he perceives as being negative. And guess what? He blocked me. Because he didn't like how militant I was defending Sean for having been dropped from Raw and Matt not stepping up and protecting him. He blocked me. What I'm saying is, there's a lot of things going on in Nick Walker's head. So if he looked like trash, I don't think it's because Matt did him wrong. I think it's because Nick's got a lot of issues. And so do I. But I'm not vying to be Mr. Olympia. That's the difference. That's the difference. And I think they'll come back to Matt. Now let's talk about the whole issue here between Mike Van Wyck and what's his face? Jeff Nippard. Huh? Now I don't really know either one of these guys. I don't, because I don't really follow Fuad's podcast all that much. But I have a tremendous respect for Fuad as a businessman, as a bodybuilder. It was just somebody who's taken a beating in social media land for making money. And, I think the athletes do really well, but he's got to look out after number 1 first, right? I saw a video that Jeff did about Mike. I don't know if he was trolling him or he's just, he was just trying to get under his skin. I don't know. No, I don't think he said anything to, warrant Mike grabbing him by the throat, throwing him across the gym like a sack of potatoes. Well, actually, not like a sack of potatoes, like a with a sack of lima beans or something. I don't know. But I wrote an article about it for Iron Magazine, and I cited the time that Rich Piana slapped Jason Genova. Remember that? And as soon as he saw Jason, he wasn't trying to talk to him. He wasn't trying to like, bury the hatchet, talk like men. None of that. He wanted to hit him. And when Jason got close to him, he didn't. I honestly don't believe that Rich knew it. And honestly, real honestly, even if he knew, he still probably would have slapped him. He was so mad at Jason because Jason wanted to collab with him, and he didn't want to collab with Jason. So I think that's what it was. And Jason had put Order 66 on him. And it was driving Rich crazy. You know me, I'd be in heaven. I love all those guys, and I love to get trolled. I love it. I love to be made fun of. The Big Frank the Big Frank interview that Joe Piataro did at Muscle Sport Mag. I've watched that like 150. I'm not kidding, like 150 times from beginning to end. I was like, it's not that I like people making fun of me. I just like being talked about. I always have. And well, whatever. So I was just saying to myself, this is a great Instagram live. I got to get this on YouTube, but it is already going to be on YouTube. So because that's a major pain sometimes, when you do a live on Instagram and you have to render it and make it feasible for YouTube. And sometimes when you do that, sometimes when you download it and render it, sometimes like the voice and the video are not quite there. So you got to do some audio editing, which is always a lot of fun. It's easy. It sucks, but I just wanted to basically just say, okay, that I know what it's like to be trolled, okay, and I wouldn't have an issue with being trolled. I'd be trolled all the time. I don't think Rich was used to it. In fact, I'm almost positive he wasn't used to it. And I know because I used to like hang with Rich at the Arnold always for like 2, 3 hours for like 3 or 4 straight years, 5 years, maybe possibly 5 years. And you know what? One of Rich's secrets is, I mean, everybody knows it. It's not really a secret, but it's something he told me while I was sitting on that couch with him that last year, the red couch. He said when he started, he would spend I'm gonna say 3, right? 2 to 3 hours a day, every day, not promoting Love It, Kill It, not promoting 5%, which didn't exist at the time, but liking and commenting on people in the industry that he liked and respected. We followed them, commented, was active on their feeds, whatever, and developed a fan base as a result of that. Because Rich was a great bodybuilder. He was like a top 10 national level competitor, amateur competitor. But that's not going to have more than like, I don't know, like 50 fans max or something like that. So what did he do? Well, he got with Mutant, and then while he was with Mutant, he was developing his clothing line. When he left Mutant, he went full time into the clothing line, and within a year, he had a supplement line. So when he was seeing just uncharted success, and then all of a sudden, Order 66 everywhere. And he just couldn't take it. So when he saw Jason, and afterwards he felt horrible, but honestly, even if he had known, I think he still would have slapped him because he was that mad at Jason. Like I suspect, Mike Van Wyck was angry at Jeff Nippard. And I don't know if Jeff went out of his way to piss him off. I know that video wasn't really nice at all. But I also know that Mike says stuff like he only talks to geared people or enhanced people, and if you're natty to get out or whatever. But it's not like he's like kicking you out of an elegant condo into the like northern Michigan winter snow or whatever. He's just telling you to get lost from a podcast because all they're talking about is drugs. I I just don't understand why Jeff was making fun of Mike. Um, I was expecting to see him there. I'm not, but you saw what happened. There's a reason that trolls troll online. How many trolls have actually gone up to Mark Lobliner or went to the late great Rich Piano or have gone to PJ? Because trolls are not supposed to interact with the person they're victimizing. So I don't know if these guys knew they were going to run into each other or not. But I think it's incredibly hilarious if Jeff made a video that was arguably trolling or just maybe not very nice, and then later that day or the next day he runs into Mike. You know? Not justifying it by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just it would be hilarious. So if like you know like people that are harassed by trolls met their trolls. I don't think it would be a good. I don't think it would go well. I really don't. So, anyways, thanks for joining me, guys. I'm starving. Gotta get some real food here. These noodles are pretty good. I'll probably kill these, but the carrots and the salsa and all that stuff. I mean, it's all right with the guac. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, but I want to get some real food. You know, no offense to you guys, but I want to get some real food. All right. Thanks for stopping by. Take care.